smoke the competition? Could the new Re-Imagined Dragster break the height and speed records after all? I'm about to share with you a very realistic way that would make the new Dragster the world's tallest and fastest roller coaster again. Also, did Tony Clark leave the window open for Intamin to still be involved? As we are days away now from the biggest roller coaster announcement in recent memory, I am very excited to share with you my final Dragster predictions. Starting off with the theme. I think it's safe to say that Project 2024 will obviously offer a racing theme and not the space theme. And I do not think Polaris is a part of the ride's name. I think the new name will feature the word Formula in it. And honestly, I think the name Formula Racer is not only a really cool sounding name, but a name that could very well be for this project. Over the last few months, there has been a ton of rumors regarding the layout of the coaster and where the station and queue line will be located. So here are my final predictions regarding those topics. Starting off with the queue line placement. I predict that the queue line and fast lane line will be located along the back side of the attraction, as you can see with this graphic. The regular queue line is highlighted in orange while the fast lane is highlighted in green. Guests will enter the new coaster's entry plaza where you'll have lockers to your left, and then the regular queue line and fast lane line entrance along with the exit pathway that is highlighted in blue. Having a giant entry plaza along the midway would create a whole new buzz for this ride and give the area a whole new much needed refreshed look. Now regarding my predictions, there is no such thing as a prediction channel that guesses right on everything. And knowing that, I am sure there's a few of my predictions in this video that will be right and some that will not be. That is the fun in speculating and predicting. Top Thrill Dragster was one of the most insane roller coasters ever built, and if you've been on the coaster before, then you're going to remember waiting in the station and hearing Ready to Go by Republica blasting through the speakers. Hearing that song while you're about to experience 17 seconds of pure adrenaline really got you amped up. So that is why I created my official Baby I'm Ready to Go merch line that is inspired by Top Thrill Dragster. Be sure to grab your shirt today because you cannot find much Dragster merch out there. And you can find the link to my official Keep Riding Coaster merch store in the description of this video. Now, let's talk about the actual layout for this coaster. And I predict that the spike will be the only part of the coaster's layout that gets extended. The rest will pretty much follow the same footprint that the original Dragster offered, which is okay because the spike is going to provide thrills that Cedar Point has never seen before and will look epic among the rest of the coaster's skyline. I predict that you'll see a new station built behind the original station, as you can see here, allowing for a station setup just like Mavericks, where you can have two trains loading and unloading simultaneously. While I do wish they could use the original station, if you look closely, I just do not think there's enough room for that. I mentioned this a while back in one of my videos, but I predicted that the old station structure could be used for a new pre-show for the coaster before the train moves out onto the launch track. Something like the setup that Copyright Strike offers with their pre-show room. The pre-show will end as the train in front of you goes over the top hat, and from there, the train you're on will then move on to the launch track. Once this happens, the next train will leave the block section located here and then enter the pre-show area. Now here's a what if, and that is, could the launch start off in reverse and travel up the vertical spike first? I mean, it really could, but my big thing is there really isn't a ton of room here, as you can see, to have enough momentum to travel that high up the spike. And judging by the size of the footer and supports, I just do not see this option making much sense. Unless they added LSMs up the spike, making the train travel in reverse to the tallest point, then the train gets released and free falls all the way back down. And with the new teaser Cedar Point just put out today that says nowhere to go but back, maybe this really is a possibility of having LSMs launching the train up the vertical spike in reverse. However, I really think the most likely scenario will be the train launching forwards and then backwards up the spike and then forwards again and obviously over the top hat. A huge shout out goes to Escape Designs because they really nailed the potential layout in this video here. Also, I want to shout out everyone that has sent me pictures, videos of this project and more. I really do appreciate it. And last but not least, a shout out goes to Lake Erie Lifestyles for all the amazing drone footage. And you can find the links to everyone I mentioned here in the description of this video. The teasing has really revved up at the park with all these new intriguing signs along the construction wall. Smoke the competition. Could this mean we are looking at a spike being over 456 feet tall, making this coaster the world's tallest? But what about the speed record? Currently, Formula Rosa travels at an insane speed of 149 miles an hour. Top Thrill Dragster had a top speed of 120 miles an hour. So just imagine the trains going 30 plus miles an hour faster over the 420 foot tall top hat. While that would make for some amazing ejector air time, that would also cause a lot of stress and wear and tear on the 20 plus year old top hat supports and track. So that right there pretty much confirms and debunks the idea that this project could go after the height and speed record, right? More on that in a minute. And if you're planning a trip to Cedar Point, then you have to check out my Cedar Point Must Know Tips Guide, where you're going to learn about everything you need to know about the park before you visit, and how you can save money. And you can find the link for it in the description of this video. Now, let's talk about my 2 realistic predictions for Dragster 2.0. Prediction number 1, no height or speed record. With this idea, I think the train's going to launch you from 0 to 90 miles an hour, and you will travel up around 325 feet on the top hat. And then, this gives us the rollback that we all desperately want. From there, as the train launches you in reverse, I predict that the train's going to accelerate to 100 miles an hour in reverse. The train will travel up the vertical spike and reach a height of around 375 feet. Then, the train exits the vertical spike and travels into the launch section again and hits a top speed of 123 miles an hour. And do you notice the teasers? Hence, why I think the coaster will travel at a top speed of 123 miles an hour, which would get the train to easily travel over the top hat every single time. And in that moment, the train will then travel down the spiral and into the brake run. Prediction number 2, record breaking. Launch 1 will take the train from 0 to 100 miles an hour. You would then lose momentum and then roll back. As the train hits the launch track and accelerates even faster to a top speed of 150 plus miles an hour, then up the record-breaking 475 foot tall spike. This would give Cedar Point the title again for the world's tallest and fastest roller coaster until Falcon's Flight opens. As the train free falls back down to the ground, you then enter the launch again, where you will not accelerate any faster because you would actually just have the LSMs get the train to a consistent 123 mile an hour launch, so the train then clears the top hat. And the more I think about this idea, the more I really do love it. And if PHP stands for Project High Point, then I really do think the height record could be at play here. And let's take a minute to talk about this spike. Because will it be a straight vertical spike or will the track twist? And could we see the spike offer an incline to it? Meaning, could we see riders get some hang time while they're experiencing the element? I predict that we are looking at a straight 90-degree non-twisting spike that will not offer an incline due to the supports already being poured for the spike. Cedar Point is going all out on the teasers for this project and are really hyping it up. And we cannot forget that this is Cedar Point, America's rock and roller coast. And Project High Point, or Project Horsepower, is indeed going to be a massive new roller coaster. But one of the biggest questions is, who's designing it, because now it appears that we do not have as much proof as we originally had thought regarding Zamperla. Tony Clark, Cedar Point's communications director, shared the following on a post on the fan page called Point Buzz. And apparently it was confirmed that Tony really did post this, which does make for a very interesting twist, because are the Zamperla labels really old bins and containers for the Wild Mouse and not Dragster? So could this mean that Intamin still has a chance? We all know Tony is one of the best in the business, and he loves throwing us curveball after curveball. So I do think there is a chance that Intamin is still involved, and I'm going to say for my final predictions that I'm going to give it a 60% chance that Zamperla is the company in charge of redesigning Dragster, and Intamin has a 40% chance. Overall, the new Top Thrill Dragster will be a major hit when it reopens. And now that you know my final Dragster predictions, what are yours? Do you think it's going to break the height and speed record? Be sure to let me know in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to smile today, think positive, and keep riding coasters.